Hi again, everybody. In this video tutorial, we're going to continue with graphics. This time we're going to focus on putting in a full screen graphic into a news story. So we're in Premiere Pro Creative Cloud, and we've got the same timeline before with the story about the snow in Athens. We've got a mother and then the son that we've already put the lower thirds on. And let's say we've got a part of the package here where the reporter is going to talk about statistics or if there's any records broken on the snowfall, and we want to pop that in with a full screen graphic that's going to match what the reporter is saying. So right there is our graphic. We would, of course, have the reporter's track underneath it, and we would time this graphic so it hits exactly where the reporter is talking about the weather statistics. So for this purposes, we're just demoing the graphic. So we've got that in screen on display. Now we just have to create the text effect, just like we did for the lower thirds. So in this case, it's, remember, a new text item, so that can be Command T. And we've got the right aspect ratio. And this is going to be my full screen. So I'll put full screen weather. We want to keep text really short, really limited on full screens. Don't put a gigantic paragraph up there. A few short bullet points, a couple words per bullet, or a very, very short 1 or 2 line quotation is about all you do per screen. So we'll say OK. And again, it creates this little full screen effect right there in our bin. Now I just go back to my text editor and I start picking out the font and all that. So we did this in the last tutorial, so let's go do it again. And once I create the base image or the text font style, I'll have it for this graphic. And I could even do that independent copy if I had multiple full screens in the story. So let's just type in. First thing we have to do in a full screen is put a title or a kind of a topic heading right up here. So this is going to be, in this area, we'll call it Athens Snowstorm. And again, we've got to get the Helvetica. You guys know this, Helvetica. And we're going to put that in bold. That's going to be our heading. We'll do bold. We will also make it black, the fill color. So remember, just over to our right, we click the little white color chooser or swatch, and we want to pick the upper left. That's black, because black text goes in the white space. And with our little arrow indicator, I can move it in. It's obviously too huge, so we type in here. Let's go with about a 50-point font and see. It works, I think, perfectly. About 50 works really good. Keep that for future reference. 50-point font in Helvetica bold works pretty good for a title right in there. Good. We could also put a secondary line of text under here if we had sort of a subheading. Think of this as almost like a headline for the information that's going to follow, almost like a slug or a short headline. So Athens Snowstorm, and then we'll put our bullet points right here. I'm not going to do a secondary title. If I did, I would put it in black, and I would also put it underneath in this sort of light gold space if I had a subhead. But let's go right to our bullet points. And now we're going to do another text entry, and we're going to do these, and I'm going to go ahead and just put them all in. I can put them in as individual elements and then have them reveal one at a time, or I can just do them all 3 at once. Let me show you the quick way to just do 3, sort of the 3 in 1. There's our text box. We're going to type in there, and it's going to be school closings. Maybe that's part of the headline for the day, something about school closings. Schools closed. Let's just say that because the reporter's going to say all area schools were closed. And we'll put that right over here. So it's going to be full screen, so I'm going to kind of justify it. I'll left justify everything so it kind of falls along that border right there. Remember, that's got to be white text because now we're on top of the red background. So let's check the fill color. We'll go down to the lower left to get white. Very nice. I'm also going to, just to make this pop a little bit more over the background, I'm going to put a drop shadow on it. So if you see where I am here, there's a shadow selector. We'll turn it on. And keep your eyes up here again on the graphic. I'll take it off. Watch where it says schools closed. Okay, no shadow. Click the shadow on. Gives it a nice little bit of depth. So we're going to pop that on there. So good. School closed. If I want to just keep typing in, now that I've got this font, we're already in Helvetica, we're in bold, I could just mouse down and go record snowfall, and maybe the last bullet point was power outages. Or how about this? Let's say they say there's like 3,000 without power. 3,000 power. Okay, so that could be my, if I just did all 3 kind of revealing at the same time. That wouldn't be the best way aesthetically to do it. It'd be better to have one at a time. This will just show you how to do all three at once. So there we are. It was as simple as that. I'll close that. And now I go to where, remember where we had the graphic in the story right there, like a piece of video. Then I just take full screen weather, and you know the rest. We just drop it down here, and then what I might have to do is loop it a second time. We had a big section with the graphic, and our text isn't quite filling up the space. By default, it's not lasting long enough. Oh, it all falls off there. So all we have left is the full screen graphic. So I can simply just grab full screen weather again, drag it again, drop it in there to fill that remaining space. And there we go. Okay, so that's how you could make a full screen graphic where all the bullet points are just stacked onto one single title effect. Maybe a better way to do it is to have each bullet point come in one at a time, and you can time that exactly to the reporter's voice. So let's look at how to do that. This is probably going to be the most compelling way to put it in a package. So we've got the soundbite ends, and then we're back to the reporter, and this is where our graphic's going to be, and we need to put the bullet points over it, and we'll reveal them, for each sentence the reporter says, and make it match. And then it'll go into more B-roll, and then back to the soundbite from the sun. We've got maybe the full package going here with the reporters down in A3, the sound bites have been laid into the A2 track, and all of our nat sound is in A1. So we've kept all that audio in its own track, separate lane of traffic, if you will. Okay, so what we can do here is I've already got the full screen weather that I first started. Let me put the playhead right over the graphic again. There we are, back there. So we've already got the title in there, and we've already got the word schools closed. Our first bullet point is in a graphic I had just made. So this is where we use that independent copy again. Simple, just like we did with lower thirds. We'll just keep reusing the same style of text and the color, the font style and color. So I put full screen weather down, and maybe that's the first thing that the reporter says is, and the snow caused local schools to be closed. And then right about here is where she's going to say, and there were also record snowfall reported in many counties. So like right here, I'm just going to option, drag that same clip up here and sort of slide it over to that position, right? Then all I have to do is double click it. Now I have an independent copy, and it's over here in my bin, full screen weather copy. Double click it. And then in this one, I just go down to the second line, and we're going to put record snowfall. Close that and look at it. So the first one will come in. The reporter says the snowstorm caused schools to be closed, or area schools were closed for 3 days. There was also record snowfall reported in many Georgia counties. And then the last thing is, and 3,000 people were without power. So we're going to put that up on the next video track. That's going to be video 4. So again, it's just click this second title, option, drag it up, slide it into place. Again, I can precisely line it up to where the reporter's voice. That's why we always put in the voice tracks first when we edit a package, and then we can position our graphics and our B-roll to match perfectly. So let's pull back just a little bit, and now we just double click this one, and we type in, click in. I already have my text area. Remember, everything's picked out for me, the font style, the color, even the positioning of the text. I don't even have to do anything except type in the next line. So 3,000 without, make sure I get 3,000 in there, out power. Okay, good. Now that one's in, and so now we have this. We have schools closed, record snowfall, and 3,000 without power. The only problem here is, if you notice, my full screen copy number 3, the one that has the third bullet, is it's hanging over my B-roll. We don't want that, do we? So let's just tuck it back in, and we'll make all these end right at the, there we are. So now everything will roll in one at a time. That's a really good way to do your bullet points, to have each one pop in individually.